Okay, some answers for quiz number 15. I asked you 5 questions about LGBTQ plus culture, history, so on. I still have the frog. So, in the film Pride, the miners' union marched at the head of the Pride March after these reciprocal fundraising arrangements with LGBT groups, mostly London-based. That was in 1985. That march that they headed up was 1985. Question 2. The age of consent at 16 was equalised for hetero and homosexual couples in England in the year 2001. Very recent. It had been 18 for gay people and 16 for straight people prior to that for a few years. And prior to that, within my lifetime, certainly within the 1980s, it was 21 for gay people and still 16 for straight people. Question 3. The Stonewall riots of 1969, those were in New York, USA. Question 4. The other adjective referring to lesbians that comes from the name of a famous inhabitant of Lesbos, that would be Sapphic. Sapphic, often used to refer to lesbians, derived from the name Sappho. Sappho was a poetess who lived on the island of Lesbos. Apparently most of her work was destroyed because it was considered immoral. So we only have fragments now. Question 5. If in Polari you said that someone had Nanti Raya, Nanti just means no or nothing, like niente. Raya means hair. So someone with Nanti Raya is bald. Raya is just hair backwards. It's what they call backslang. Round 2. The geeky one. So, question 6. Now, the Tesseract. The Tesseract features in the Marvel universe. It's that blue glowy cube that Loki is so keen to get his hands on. There is also a Tesseract in Doctor Who. So you can have a mark if you said Doctor Who. But the answer to question 9, I know I've skipped a couple, Praxius, is Doctor Who. Now, I said you only get to use each answer once. So if you've got Doctor Who for Praxius, you can't have the mark for Tesseract for Doctor Who. If you've got something else for Praxius, fine. Excuse me. Anyway, skipping back. 6, Tesseract, Marvel. 7, the Coalmilat, Star Trek, that group of warrior nuns that follow the way of absolute candour. They're Romulans, famous for lying. But yes, the Coatmilat are bound by the way of absolute candour. They feature in Picard, the most recent Star Trek series. Midichlorians feature in The Phantom Menace, Star Wars. Terrible idea, and they stopped talking about them very quickly after The Phantom Menace because the entire fandom went, what? Question 9, we've already said, Praxius. That was Doctor Who, relatively recent episode of Doctor Who, a disease that caused the plastic that we've all been ingesting and breathing in and whatever else to take over your body. And question 10, the Light of Erendil. That's the little vial of starlight that Galadriel gives to Frodo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. He uses it to help him escape Shelob, the giant spider. And then I played you those 5 tracks from films and musicals and operas that were to do with rain or storms. So the first one, fairly obvious, I thought. That was Singing in the Rain. It's the marvellous Gene Kelly. You could hear tapping away. I hope you were appreciating my Muppet-style tap dancing during that. Honest. So yeah, Singing in the Rain. Question 11. Question 12. That's the storm sequence from Barber of Seville, Rossini. There was a trend, I have no idea why, but there was a trend in operas around that time that there was always a storm sequence. There's so many that just have a storm sequence for often no apparent reason. Question 13, that's Bambi. The observant amongst you will have heard drip, drip, drop, little April showers going through it, but in a minor key. It actually follows directly on from drip, drip, drop, which is a beautiful choral arrangement, but I think the choral writing in that storm sequence is just wonderful. That howling wind effect. Question 14. Now, this one has 2 answers in theory as well. I didn't know, but it does. Question 14. It's from Follies, the musical. So that was the mark that I had in mind. That was Pearl Carr and Teddy Johnson you heard singing it. It also features, just towards the end, titles of Paddington 2, the movie. So if you said that, you can have a point. I hadn't clocked that was there, but I've been back and watched it. It's rather wonderful. So you can have a mark for that. And question 15, slightly obscure perhaps, that's Jonathan Dove's opera Flight. The controller, the lady running the airport, singing about the storm and then saying, "No planes, try to remain sane." She certainly isn't. And the last round, does your mother know? I wanted to know who the famous mother of these people was, has been. Stella McCartney. Her mum is Linda McCartney, obviously wife of Paul McCartney. So Stella McCartney, her mum is Linda McCartney, famous for making vegetarian sausages, amongst other things. Question 17. Georgia May Jagger, obviously her father, Mick Jagger. Her mother, Jerry Hall, who I believe is now married to Rupert Murdoch. Question 18. Lorna Luft is the younger daughter of Judy Garland. Liza Minnelli is her older daughter. Lorna Luft is Judy Garland's daughter. Question 19. King Edward VI was the son of Jane Seymour, Henry VIII's third wife, the one that died. She died a couple of days after Henry VI was born. And question 20. Carrie Fisher was the daughter of Debbie Reynolds, who obviously starred in Singing in the Rain. And they died within a couple of weeks of each other, bless them. So yeah, answer to question 20, Debbie Reynolds. So, I hope you did reasonably well. I thought this was one of the easier ones. I think our winning score was 15 out of 20. So let me know how you did. Let me know how you compare. Hope you're enjoying. Give me a subscribe, give me a like, tell your friends. Enjoy. See you next time.